Howdy chaps, and welcome back to Graham's Restorations. You might wonder why I'm sometimes called XA Coop Guy, and sometimes I switch it up and say Graham's Restorations. To answer that question, I'll tell you that when I started this channel, umpteen years ago, I did actually personally own an XA Falcon Coop Superbird, genuine. And obviously being a bit younger and a bit stupider, I thought, yeah, that's a great name, and it sort of stuck, and I never changed it before actually getting into this stuff, so sort of stuck. But Graham's Restorations is the business, and XA Coop Guy I consider me because reasonably knowledgeable when it comes to Falcon Coops and how they're supposed to be. I'm a bit of a Ford nut, you might say. I enjoy them immensely. And never wear horizontal stripes, it is not slimming. But yes, it's been a while between updates. I'll give you a bit of a rundown of what's happened since you've been gone. So chaps, you might wonder questions like, why haven't you been putting out many videos, and why haven't you been doing this? To answer your question, I haven't had anything worthy of filming, not in my opinion. The last thing I had was this pillar section, and since then the jobs I've been doing on this car are so minor and not worth of filming. I just figured, what's the point? I'll just actually do my job and not film everything. I know some people like to see everything, but yeah, I know. You know, if it's not worthy of filming, I'm not going to waste everybody's time. That's a good way to lose subscribers. But on this, I have actually, because this quarter panel is pretty much done to how we're going to have it. All the rust is done. I bare metaled it once I'd done it, like the other day. So, quarter panel, wheel arch, dog leg, the Fairmont holes are gone, the rust in there's gone, the pillar corner's done, the gutter's done. The whole quarter is done. So once it was done, so as I do a rust repair, I just coat it with etch primer and be done, let it sit. And then when I finished, I come back bare metal all of it, make sure it's all spotless, check to see if I haven't missed like a little pinhole or something in welds, because you do occasionally, you go, oh, missed a bit, and you'll just come back and zap them up, and then you can grind them down and keep going. And I had to do that a whole bunch of times because there's a lot of welds in that quarter panel. And after I'd done that, I sanded it again, cleaned it all up, made sure there was not one iota of surface rust anywhere on it or anything of any kind. And then I did some very minor body work to it. As you will know, there is no longer a gas filler hole. That was one of the first repairs I did to this car. There was this repair actually crept out and was down the side here. You obviously well know that I did some repairs in here, so obviously I had to dig the lead out, so I had to put some filler in there. The Fairmont holes are gone, they're welded up, obviously a bit of filler on that. I sandblasted all of this channel yesterday and welded up, obviously I haven't finished that side, but I've got to weld up all the little holes. And then obviously where the lead, factory lead sort of only just sort of blobs around the corner because they know that they're going to put a trim over it, so I just smoothed it out a little bit, didn't go too nuts. This area here where there was a bit of pitting, I blasted, got the rust off it, blasted down the channel, blasted down here, see there was a little hole, zapped it up, and you just run a bit of filler in that, no worries. Today's video we're going to probably tackle, and I don't actually know how we're going to actually film in this area, but that hole there, as you can see I've been in here before, and at the time I didn't go down far enough, but I can solve that. So we will continue down and replace that next section. Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger. This one goes a long way. Looks like it creeps all the way over to here. We'll just have to have a bit of a nosy, but yeah, luckily it's not the actual torque box, it's just the floor pan. So that'll be a fun one. Yeah. That's the last of the, well, not quite the last of the major rust, but it's one of the lasts. But yes, that's what we're going to do in today's video. I don't quite know how we're going to do it, but we're going to actually start off by finishing up just where I've been. So finish the areas you've just been doing. So yeah, that's where we've been at. That's what I meant to say, like the jobs haven't been big enough to be like worthy of filming. I mean, people might go, I'd like to see the bog work, but I don't know, it's not really what I like showing off. Everybody can do bog work, it's not that hard. Just get rid of some of the worst of where the welds were, and just smooth it out so that the customer gets back something that a painter won't go, oh my god. Because this is going to a chap who's going to just finish up all the bodywork and just make it pretty. So at least if I've given him a head start, he won't have to have a little cry, as painters like to do. No offense to any painters, but they do whinge an awful lot. But that's what we're going to tackle today. Hopefully that's entertaining. It's going to suck a little bit, just because of the lighting, I reckon. But we'll see how we go. Might work, it might not work, but at least I'll give you some content. So let's get cracking. So what I've done is I've just ground down my welds, and I've just cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned until the actual panel was absolutely spotlessly clean. Then just added in some filler. Now, another reason I dislike thoroughly talking about bog is because so many people have opinions on it. It is not funny. It's like a really disputed topic. Everybody has their way of doing it. You can put bog on bare steel. Most bogs are designed to be put directly on bare steel. There is a lot of people out there who much prefer to put it over epoxy. Not completely necessary. You don't have to. I mean, it's just the old saying goes, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. It's like bog. There is so many different ways you can do it, and a lot of them are correct. So when it comes to bog work, do it the way that you feel comfortable. I'll do it the way I feel comfortable, and we'll be both happy. So I have bare metaled it, made sure that I can still see where my screw holes are going to be, and then I'm going to sand it and it'll be good, and then I'll put some etch on it and we can move on. So basically super clean bare steel with no rust behind it. I doubled and tripled, quadruple checked, then a bit of filler to just fill in the craters, and obviously continue where the lead, you'd think the factory would have kept going, but they didn't. They just sort of blobbed it and stopped and just smoothed it out. So it's going to be a bit like that when it's done. So just making it a bit prettier, and then we'll go down and tackle that dirty great big hole underneath there. And I think the first step in that one is I'm actually going to make the patch before I go down there and cut the hole. I'm going to make it way bigger than it needs to be, and I'll get my little I forgot what the technical name is, but thing that tells me what angles is, and I'll go make up a new piece of floor, and then I'll whittle it down into about the right shape, and then we can get in there. I don't really want to spend the weld down that hole because it's not the most funnest place to repair, but that's where we're going to be next. Right, so now we're looking into this area. So we've got a good idea of how bad this is. So what I'm thinking about doing is, because it's not much, it's just, I might just cut open here just so I can get, because this wraps around there, and then that panel, if it wasn't rusty, it sits on the inside of this. So what I might do is I might just hack open a little hole here, basically a little window. I can put it back in or make a new piece because it does have a few holes in it. Hack it open, and then I can get much better access to in there and make sure these seams are spotless when they go back together. So that's what I'm going to do next. Unfortunately, you probably won't see any time-lapsing today because this is not the easiest place to repair. Because as you can tell, we're sort of deep underneath the dashboard, but at least, you know, I'll walk you through it as per usual. So yeah, I'll just catch you up in a second once I've hacked a hole. So there, got my window into the hole, into the floor pan comes up, changes direction, there's some of it there, I believe. There's not much left of it. This bit will be staying, this bit will be going, and this is where it sort of ends, because this actually, piece I put in here, actually came down on a bit of an odd angle and joined in here. So the rust is sort of from here to here, which is luckily just inside my window. And when this is out, I'll clean the inside of that torque box, because there's supposed to be some spot welds that weld this firewall to this torque box. when that's all done. So that's where we're at. You see I cleaned up inside there, so I will now trim out some of in there, make a new piece and see how we go. Right, now I have a patch made. Wait for yet another truck to go past. There we go. So my patch is made. I used some manila folders again, or vanilla folders, or whatever you want to call them, I don't really care. This hole just here is actually supposed to be there. Worked it out after looking at it. So it matches the same thing, comes around the same amount. So all I got to do now is just trim and cut and paste. So yeah, the foot comes out here, it goes around, up and around, pretty good. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray around the edge with copper spray so I get a pretty colourful and very easy to see outline. Then I'll just trim out the bits that are going to get replaced, and then just start being in the most uncomfortable place in the world to start welding it in. Yeah. Right, it is time to weld in the first piece. As you can see, looking smashing, or as I like to say, lovely. Yes. Hoo-yah! Obviously that's not clamped in, it's just resting, so it will be better when I put it in. But I have obviously trimmed up that piece, the bit behind it, which is the torque box. I've spent a disturbingly long amount of time and a hell of a lot of belt sanding belts cleaning up that back bit and welding up any decent sized pitting. Copper sprayed, so now we just zap that in and then we whittle up a small piece for here and we can call that done. I think that's not too bad. Sorry I haven't got any time lapsing happening today, but if anybody else does a repair in a similar place, you'll figure out why you can't really get a camera in here and actually yourself. So I've spent the day in here and it's a little uncomfortable on the rib cage. Anyway, I'm going to weld this in and show you the end result. Well, it's in, it's ground. Now I can't make a miracle happen. I've come back and zapped up a couple little extra holes. Considering the location, it's very difficult to weld and grind in this area, so unfortunately I've just had to do the best I can. It is structurally sound again and doesn't look offensive, especially, you know, considering you're gonna, you know, probably stone guard, sound deaden, carpet, insulation. You know, it won't be a problem. So that's that bit done. I'm just going to grind down those extra couple that I've done, and then I'm just going to quickly whittle together a small piece there and copper spray in there and be done. And that'll wrap up quite a nice video, I think. Chaps, got my next bit ready to rock and or roll. Pretty straightforward, actually very simple, very quick. It's just a fold, cut and a trim. Sort of, if I had a third hand, that would, trust me, it fits in there. It'll sit nicer once it's welded in. There we go. So that's pretty much the gist of that. And obviously those have got to weld in through here, because if you, on an original car, because we've already replaced the bottom half of that, you would see welds through here and then welds going up onto this direction too, because that's actually the floor pan that welds up through here, and it actually comes up here a bit and then changes once it gets here. So I'm going to put this in and then grind it down a little bit, and I reckon I'm going to wrap up the video there. So stay tuned. Alrighty, I've just whittled this in, welded in, all done. Your plug welds don't look amazing, but you know, you can't win everything, can you? But the rust is done. Yeah, so that's actually the side and the floor pan section, and well, basically this, now the rust is fixed here. It sucked a little because of its location, and anybody else who tries to do one of these will soon work out how fun they are to do in a non-fun kind of way. But that'll do me for a video for a bit. I'll try and find some more interesting content. We'll probably have another video when we tackle the rust in the plenum chamber there areas. But unfortunately at this point in time all the tasks are quite minor, so they're not worth filming. But if you're looking for something interesting to watch, go check out El Jefe's Chop Shop, where his latest episode is the one where we might have done a bit of a quickie on a Corolla, but it's quite fun to watch, so go check that out if you're getting a bit bored. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this footwell repair, and don't forget to subscribe and share it around. Thank you.